Okay, so this video is going to show you how to download and analyze data from an online survey service such as Google Forms. Now, if you look at the mark scheme for our survey report, and here we're talking about the individual part of the report. If you look at the mark criteria for results, you'll see that it says the results must contain at least one comparison of demographic descriptors, for example, male and female, faculty, etc. So this shows you must make use of the demographic data that you've gathered from your survey. What you want to do is compare the way that different groups of people have answered the same question. Now, many of you would have used Google Forms to make your questionnaire and to gather the data together in one place. This is a good idea, but because it's free, I suppose, Google Forms has some limitations. Now, I've made a questionnaire, and in my class some of my students have completed the questionnaire, so there's some data ready for me to use. You'll see that my first two questions are demographic questions, that is gender and then faculty. Now the problem is that Google Forms doesn't know that these are demographic questions. If I click on my edit button at the top, now as you know, this allows you to view the responses to the questionnaire. So if I click on that, you'll see that I've got 30 responses to my questionnaire. Now you can see the results of my demographic questions at the top, but like I just said, Google doesn't know that these are demographic questions, so it doesn't allow you, for example, to compare the way that male and female students answered this question. It just shows you all the respondents. So that's not much use for the purposes of our report. Another problem which Google Forms has is that it doesn't, although it allows you to make a scale type question, it doesn't do the analysis of the scale question correctly. When you have a scale question, the idea of a scale question is to calculate the mean score on the scale for your group. So what you're actually saying is my group is tending to agree or disagree with this statement. So there's a couple of problems there, and hopefully in this video I'm going to show you how to get around these problems. The first thing that you need to do is download your data. If you click on the menu button at the top here, you'll see it says download responses. Now, you might not have noticed this before because it's possible you didn't recognize the file type. Don't worry, you just click on it. The file type, CSV, it just means comma separated values. And actually this type of file you can open using Microsoft Excel. So let's download it first of all. So it downloads it in a zip folder like so. So yeah, you'll see that it has the Excel icon next to it. So I double click on it. And hopefully it will open in Excel. Here it comes. Okay, now the first thing you can do is to change the file type. So if you go to your file and save as, and save the file in a convenient place. I'm just going to put it on my desktop for now because we're going to be using it for the next few minutes. You'll notice it's, as the file name, it's got the title of my questionnaire. Now you can change the file type at this stage, and if you change it to Excel macro enabled workbook and then save it, you've now changed the file type, and you should be able to use all of the features of Excel to do your analysis. So you notice on this spreadsheet I've got a column for each of the questions on my questionnaire. See, here's my gender question in column B. The timestamp column just tells you the time and date that that particular person responded to your questionnaire. We don't actually need this one, so to tidy up our spreadsheet we can delete that one, and then that means we have now gender in our column A. And yet you notice each of the questions is in a column, so in the column below the responses. So this means that each row is one response. So this top one is a male respondent from the business faculty, and going across here are his answers to the 15 questions on the questionnaire. Now let's have a look at a scale question to begin with. So we can see my question 6 here. To what extent do you agree or disagree with the following statement? I'm satisfied with my quality of life in Hong Kong. Now, like I said before, the proper way to analyze a scale question is to consider the mean score on the scale. So I'm going to go down here to the bottom and start calculating the means for the different groups who've responded to this questionnaire. First of all, I'm going to calculate the mean for all respondents. This is nice and simple. Make sure you're on your Home tab, go up to your Auto Sum button, click on Average, and select all of the numbers in your column. It will calculate the average score then. We know that our scale was on a scale of 1 to 5, so we can see that the mean score for the whole group is 2.9. Now, for the reporting in our results section of our survey report, we don't need this many decimal places. If you go up here to the number box, you can decrease the number of decimal places. We only need 1. Okay, so the mean score for all respondents is 2.9. So now we're going to do the same for each of our demographic groups. So we've got male, female, well, let's put them in alphabetical order: arts, business, and social science. Right. So, oops. We're now going to calculate the mean for each of these groups. But to do that, we have to sort our data. So what you do is go to your top left cell, click on your Data tab, and click on this button, the Sort button, and it opens this box. Now you can make sure that this box is ticked. It says my data has headers, and then when you click on here it will show you each of your columns. We want to sort by gender, so we select this one. So this will sort the data according to the criteria in here. You'll notice you can order it A to Z or Z to A. If we do A to Z, it will sort it, and of course it will put the female responses first, followed by the male responses. Let's see what it does. There we go. So you can see now the first column has been sorted into female and male. I'll just shade that so that you can see the difference easily. I just fill it in with a light color. Right, so we can see our male students' responses down at the bottom. So we want to calculate the mean for the male. So we go back to the auto sum button, click on average, and then we just select the male responses. We put that back up there. So we can see the compared to the group, the whole group, male students tending to disagree a little more with this statement as a group. Then we do the same for the female students, like so. And we can see the female students are actually above the midpoint. So they're tending to agree with the statement slightly more than the male students. Next, we're going to sort the data according to faculty. So you can see they're all mixed up in here, the 3 faculties. So again, we go to the Data tab. We click on our Sort button, and we choose the second column. Again, it's going to sort it A to Z, so it should sort them arts, business, social science. Let's see what happens. There we go. So the arts students at the top, business, social science. So we go back to our auto sum button, click on average, and only select the arts students. Arts students right on the midpoint, showing that they have a neutral attitude towards this statement. Business students all the way down here, little bit lower than the arts students, below the midpoint. For social science, we've only got 1 respondent, but we can still calculate the average, which of course is going to be 3. Okay, so now for our one question, we have 5 different categories that we can talk about. So we can put a heading here, group. Let's put another couple of lines in there. This is our average, and we can put our title at the top here. I just want this here. So I paste that into this cell. So this little table we've got down here is going to be used to make our chart. So if we select all of the data in this chart, including the title, and then we go to Insert tab, then we can create a chart. Because we're comparing averages with each other, we want to present the numbers side by side. So we can put them in a 2D column chart, like so. Okay, and then we will see that the question has come up as our title. And we have a label down here for our group, and over here we've got our averages on the left hand side. Now you can play around with the format of your file, your chart, sorry, and do various things with it. Looking ahead to when you're going to do your presentation, might be an idea to use one with a dark background. This will be useful to copy and paste into your PowerPoint if you're going to use it for your final presentation. So there's your chart, right? So this is the proper way to analyze a scale question. You can see from that one question combined with our demographic data, we now have 6 different numbers that we can talk about in our results description. So that's how to analyze the scale question. I'll stop the video here, and in part 2 we'll have a look at a multiple choice question with one answer.